There's a reason most guys over 40 look in the mirror and see the same thing they saw last year. Flat traps, rounded shoulders, a frame that feels strong, but looks incomplete. Let me be brutally honest with you. The trapezius is the most misunderstood muscle in the gym. And that's exactly why it stays underdeveloped in most men, especially after 40. You've probably heard it before. Only guys with elite genetics build big traps. Or worse. Shrugs once a week are enough, bro. Huh? That mindset? It's killing your progress. Here's what's really happening. Most guys train their traps like an afterthought. And by the time you realize it's holding back your entire upper body aesthetic, you've already built years of bad habits, poor posture, and invisible progress. But listen, it's not too late. Because this muscle responds fast when you know what you're doing. And when you train it right, it transforms the way your entire frame looks. From the front, the side, and especially from the back. You go from guy who lifts to guy they move out of the way for. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because your physique finally reflects the work you've been putting in. Now here's where it gets serious. If you keep repeating the same approach, hoping for different results, you're wasting time. Time that, let's be honest, you don't want to waste anymore. So today, we're cutting through the noise. No fluff, no filler. Just the 3 most effective trapezius exercises for men over 40. Backed by science, experience, and years of trial and error. But before we even touch the first movement, I need you to understand something. Knowing the right exercises won't help at all if you're still making the same mistakes that keep your traps flat and lifeless. And unfortunately, that's where most guys fail. Not in the gym, but in how they approach this muscle from the ground up. So we're starting there. The 3 major mistakes that kill your trapezius gains, and how to finally fix them. Because once you fix the foundation, that's when the growth starts. If you're feeling this already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because what's coming next might just change the way you train forever. Poor posture is killing your gains. Let me paint a picture for you. You walk into the gym, grab some dumbbells, stand in front of the mirror, and start shrugging like you've seen 100 guys do. Shoulders up, shoulders down. Quick reps. A little neck tension. Maybe even a grimace. Then you move on, feeling like you hit your traps. But deep down, you know nothing's growing. Now, rewind for a second. Before the reps. Before the weights. How are you standing? Head slightly forward, shoulders rounded, spine a little curved? That's the problem right there. Your posture, the way you carry yourself in and out of the gym, is sabotaging your trap growth before you even start lifting. And I'm not talking about perfect posture like a ballet dancer. I'm talking about functional posture, where your scapulae are locked into place, your chest is slightly open, and your traps can actually do their job. Because here's the reality. The trapezius is a stabilizer first. And no stabilizer can work if the foundation it's supposed to support is crumbling. Your shoulder blades are the anchor point for every movement involving the traps. If they're loose, flared out, or tilted forward, the muscle simply doesn't activate the way it should. And instead of growing muscle, you end up overloading your neck, straining your shoulders, and wasting time. Most guys never notice it because poor posture feels normal. We sit in traffic, slouched. We work on laptops, hunched. We look at our phones, caved in. Hour after hour, day after day, your body adapts. And eventually, that slouched, deflated posture becomes your default setting. So when you finally go train, you're starting from a compromised position. The traps are stretched out and weak. the shoulder blades don't stabilize. The movement becomes compensation, and compensation never builds size. But here's where it gets interesting. Fixing posture isn't about buying a brace or standing like a soldier. It's about awareness, inside and outside the gym. At work, pull your shoulders back and sit with intention. Walking, keep your chest proud, spine neutral, and let your traps support your frame. Training, don't just lift weights. Control the scapulae. Lock them down. Own the movement. Every rep is a chance to rewire the connection between your brain and your traps. But that won't happen if your body's still stuck in default slouch mode. And let me be clear, you don't need perfect mobility or flawless posture to start seeing progress. You just need to stop ignoring it. Because if you keep training like your shoulder blades don't matter, your traps will never grow like they should. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. The next mistake? That's the one that holds back even the guys who train hard. Low volume, low frequency, no growth. You can have perfect form. You can do the right exercises. But if you're not hitting your traps with enough volume and frequency, you're not giving them a reason to grow. Period. And here's the trap most guys over 40 fall into. They treat the trapezius like an accessory. 3 sets of shrugs at the end of shoulder day. And they call it a day. Week after week, month after month. Still wondering why nothing changes. Here's the truth, and it's backed by science. The trapezius, especially in adults over 40, is made up of a high percentage of slow-twitch muscle fibers. That means it's naturally resistant to fatigue, and also naturally resistant to growth unless you push past its comfort zone. Translation? You need more total work, more sets, more exposure. This muscle doesn't respond to occasional effort. It needs consistency, frequency, and progressive tension. Think about how often your traps get used just to hold your posture upright or assist in pulling movements. They're already active all day, even outside the gym. So tossing in a few quick sets isn't enough to spark new adaptation. What actually works is this: training your traps like a primary muscle group, giving them 12 or more focused sets per week, spread over 2 to 3 training days. That's not overtraining. That's finally giving your traps the kind of volume they respond to. And no, this doesn't mean you need to lift heavy every session. It means structuring your week to target the different parts of the trapezius consistently. Middle, lower, upper, stimulate, recover, repeat. And here's the beauty of it. Once you apply real volume with smart recovery, the gains come faster than you expect, because now the muscle is being trained with purpose, not just as an afterthought. So the next time you look in the mirror and wonder why your traps still look the same, ask yourself, did I really train them this week? Or did I just check the box and move on? Most guys never push past that threshold. But you're not most guys. And the final mistake? It's the silent killer of aesthetics and symmetry. And chances are, you've been making it without even knowing. Neglecting the middle and lower traps. Quick question. When you think of traps, what comes to mind? Most guys picture that thick chunk of muscle between the shoulders and neck. You know, the upper traps. The part that pops when someone shrugs or wears a tank top. But what if I told you that's just the tip of the iceberg? The trapezius is a massive 3-part muscle, upper, middle, and lower, forming a diamond that stretches down to the middle of your back. Each section has a different job, and when you only train the top part, you create a muscular imbalance that doesn't just ruin your aesthetics, it wrecks your posture too. Let me break it down. The middle traps are responsible for pulling your shoulder blades inward, that scapular retraction that makes your back look wide and thick. The lower traps pull your shoulder blades down and stabilize them, essential for overhead movements and spinal alignment. Without these two zones working together, the upper traps become dominant, tight, and overworked, while the rest of your back stays weak and unsupported. And that's a recipe for disaster. It's why so many guys develop chronic shoulder pain, neck tension, or even nerve impingement, all because they trained one piece of the puzzle and ignored the rest. Worse yet, it throws off your physique. From the back, instead of a balanced, powerful look, you get this awkward, top-heavy frame. Strong neck-to-shoulder area, but nothing below it to complete the picture. It's like building a house and only reinforcing the roof. Now, here's the good news. Once you start targeting the middle and lower traps directly, not just as side effects of back day, you unlock a whole new dimension of strength and size. You build support, you create symmetry, and your traps stop looking like an afterthought. So if you've been relying on shrugs alone, thinking you're training traps, now you know the real reason they never grew. But that ends today. Because up next, we're finally getting into the only 3 exercises you actually need. The ones that hit each section of the traps with surgical precision. And the first one? It's probably the most underrated trap builder in the entire gym. Exercise 1. The bent over wide grip row, your missing link. If you've been skipping this move, you've been skipping the foundation of your traps. See, everyone wants the mountain between the shoulders, but very few take the time to build the base. That's what the bent over wide grip row delivers. It hits the lower trapezius like a laser, the part of the muscle that gives you stability, posture, and that thick, balanced look from behind. And here's the wild part. Most guys don't even know the lower traps exist. They train their back like it's one giant slab. But the truth is, if you don't target the lower traps directly, they stay soft, underdeveloped, and invisible. This exercise changes that. By leaning your torso forward and widening your grip, you shift the mechanical tension away from the lats and deep into the lower and middle traps. The movement forces your shoulder blades to retract and depress, 2 actions that your lower traps were literally made for. It's not just about pulling the bar, it's about controlling the blades, feeling them glide back and down, owning the tension through every rep. And let me tell you, when you get it right, you'll feel muscles firing in your upper back that you didn't even know were there. It's like waking up a part of your body that's been dormant for years, but it's also easy to mess up. Most guys round their spine. They turn it into a lower back movement or a momentum-driven mess. Others pull with their arms instead of their back, completely missing the point. So here's what to focus on. Chest open, spine neutral, grip wide. And think of your arms like ropes. The movement starts from your scapula, not your hands. When you hit the top of the pull, pause. Feel that deep squeeze between your shoulder blades. That's your lower traps doing work they haven't done in years. The more you master this movement, the stronger your posture gets. And the more your traps take shape, not just the top, but the full diamond. And the next exercise? It's the one that fixes the mid-back gap you didn't even know you had. Exercise 2. Upright row with EZ'd bar. Build width, not just height. This one's a game changer, especially if your upper back looks flat from the front. The upright row with EZ bar is your ticket to building that dense, full look across the top of your frame. And the secret here? It's not just about the upper traps. Done right, this move lights up the middle trapezius, the section that gives you that yoke effect across the shoulders. Most guys think it's just a delt exercise. But when you pull with control and focus on your elbows leading the movement, It becomes a powerful tool to carve out the trap detail your physique's been missing. Now, the easy bar makes all the difference here. That semi-pronated grip saves your wrists and elbows from unnecessary stress, which, let's be honest, matters a lot more after 40. You stay in the groove, you stay pain-free, and you finally feel the traps doing the work instead of just grinding through reps. Here's what separates results from regret. You need to pull with your elbows, not your hands. Imagine your hands are just hooks. The power comes from driving those elbows up and out, pulling the shoulder blades back at the top. That slight pause at the top, that's where the magic happens. Your traps contract hard, your delts support, and suddenly your upper body starts taking on that wider, fuller look that turns heads in a t-shirt. And don't get lazy with your range. Too many guys stop halfway or rush the movement. Slow it down. Keep the bar close to your body. Pull high, chest or even chin level, depending on your mobility, and control the way down. You'll feel the burn not just in your traps, but through the upper back. That's a good thing. It means the entire yoke structure is finally being trained with purpose. Keep this in rotation, and within a few weeks, you'll see your silhouette change. Thicker across the top, more defined from every angle. And the final exercise? It's the one everyone thinks they've mastered, but almost nobody's doing right. Exercise 3. Dumbbell shoulder shrugs. The classic that still works. Let's be honest, everybody thinks they know how to do shrugs. Grab some dumbbells, lift your shoulders, done, right? Wrong. That's why so many guys shrug for years and still look like they've never trained traps a day in their life. See, the upper trapezius loves stress, but it hates sloppy movement. And when you're over 40, you can't afford to waste time doing half reps with bad form and no control. Here's the real secret to making shrugs work. It's not about the weight. It's about the intent behind the movement. With dumbbells, you get a natural arm path, full range of motion, and no fixed bar to restrict your shoulders. That's a big win for longevity and for muscle activation. Stand tall. Let the dumbbells hang by your sides. And before you move, lock in your posture. Chest up, core tight, head neutral. Then, and only then, lift your shoulders straight up, like you're trying to touch your traps to your ears. Don't roll. Don't tilt. Don't bend your elbows. Just elevate. Pause at the top. Squeeze hard. Then lower slowly, feeling that stretch at the bottom. That's the part most people skip. Why does this matter? Because the stretch under load is where a lot of the growth stimulus lives. If you're just bouncing the weight, you're not building anything. You're just going through the motions. Now, here's the kicker. The upper traps can handle volume. They thrive on fatigue. So don't be afraid to push this one with higher reps, drop sets, or even longer time under tension. And when it burns, keep going. That's when the real growth kicks in. The traps are a pride muscle. You see them in every shirt, every pose, every angle. And nothing screams power like well-developed upper traps. But only if you do them right. No shortcuts, no momentum, no ego lifts, just clean, controlled, trap-focused movement. And if you've been paying attention up to here, there's one bonus move that ties everything together and hits the traps in a way most people never train. Bonus exercise. Farmer's walk, density, stability, power. No mirrors, no complicated form. Just you, the weight, and your will to carry it. That's the essence of the farmer's walk. And it might be the most underrated trap builder in the entire gym. Why? Because it trains your traps the way they're designed to work in real life. isometrically. That means they're constantly firing to hold, stabilize, and resist collapse, the same role they play when you carry heavy bags, move furniture, or pick up your kids. And the beauty of this movement is that it hits all three portions of the trapezius, upper, middle, and lower, at the same time. Not through flashy reps, but through sustained tension. You grip the weight, lock in your posture, and walk with control. Your traps are working overtime to keep your shoulder blades retracted and your spine aligned. That's how you build density, that thick, powerful look that screams, "I lift," even when you're not flexing. And let's not forget the carryover. The farmer's walk improves your grip, core, shoulder stability, and even leg strength. It's a full-body challenge that leaves no weak links behind. Execution? Simple. Pick up a heavy pair of dumbbells or kettlebells. Stand tall, chest up, head forward, and walk, steady, deliberate steps. 30 to 45 seconds is all it takes to light up your traps like nothing else. Just don't let the shoulders droop. Keep them pulled back and slightly down the entire time. That posture cue is the key. It transforms the movement from a glorified grocery walk to a trap shredding machine. You'll feel it by the end of the first round. And once you make this part of your weekly routine, you'll start noticing the difference. Not just in your traps, but in how strong and solid your entire upper body feels. It's old school, it's raw, and it works. Now, you've got the knowledge, you've got the blueprint, and all that's left is to plug it into your week the right way. You've been told that traps are all about shrugs, that if they didn't grow by now, they never will. That age is the reason you're not seeing progress anymore. But now you know better. It wasn't your age, it wasn't your genetics. It was the wrong approach, and you just replaced it with a game plan that actually works. The posture fix, the volume upgrade, the full muscle activation, and with just 3 exercises, done with intent, structure, and consistency. You've got everything you need to finally build the kind of traps that command respect, without wasting time on fluff. Because after 40, the goal isn't to do more, it's to do better. Smarter movements, cleaner form, sharper focus. That's how you win. Now, the only question is, what's the one thing you're changing in your training after this? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what clicked for you. And if this video gave you at least one aha moment, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's keep building this together. Your support makes all the difference and keeps this channel bringing real, science-backed content to lifters who actually care.